Greetings, members, one and all of the Salvation Nation. Look at this beautiful bar. It's got to get here somehow. It's got to be mined and it's got to be refined. But the mining is the problem. And there's been some bad news that has been reported. We're going to talk about it here. Does this mean that there is a silver shortage ahead? Let's explore! Yes, indeed. A lot of people that buy silver, well, sometimes they don't really think about what it takes and what's involved to get it out of the ground. It's not an easy task. In fact, there's a whole team of those that are scientists, explorers out there who look to try to find silver to get it into this form. And then, of course, you have other smaller bars that come in this form. And then you've got nice pieces like this that are struck in reverse proof, or just nice, fancy, brilliantly struck with a matte finish silver. It is an amazing metal, the most reflective out there for sure, and many of us do look at it as sort of a liberating experience to own silver. Even Mexican silver, as we know, is the Libertad, which represents liberty and freedom. Yes, indeed. And most of the silver, the biggest silver miner out there is, you guessed it, in Mexico. That's right. It's Fresnillo. We're looking at an article here from Kitco News that talks about this. Pretty bad news, at least on the surface. But you know, sometimes media reports and press releases, I think they kind of got to report some of the bad news, but then they give you some good news to sprinkle on top so you'll continue to invest in their company. And nonetheless, you know, there is an overall problem here. And I've talked about it in the past on this channel. I'm going to remind you again. But first, before we get into that and about whether or not it leads to a silver shortage, let's first find out what is the news. The world's largest primary silver producer announced that its attributable silver equivalent output was 52.3 million ounces in the first half of 2022. Down 15% compared to 61.8 million ounces produced in the first half of 2021. And keep in mind, we're further away from lockdowns now than we were then. The company said that its first half of the 2022 attributable silver production of 27.6 million ounces, including Silverstream, was in line with its first half of 2021 27.5 million ounces, as the expected lower ore grade at San Julian DOB and lower volume of ore processed in Saucito was offset by the increased contribution of ore from Juanicipio. However, the company's first half of 2022 attributable gold production of 308.8 ounces was down, or 1,000 ounces was down 27.9% over the first half of 2021, which is 428.4 million ounces. I think they meant to say million ounces instead of K ounces. Primarily due to the decrease in the volume of ore processed and lower ore grade at Herraduro and Suacito. The company said that its total gross profit, including hedging gains and losses, and that's what mining companies do, by the way, as well as the big bullion dealers, it decreased by 39.7% from $606.8 million in the first half of 2021 to $365.9 million in the first half of 2022. That's bad news. It's a pretty big drop. Fresnillo explained that the $240.9 million decrease in gross profit was mainly due to lower ore grade, mostly at Herradura and also in San Julian, Suacito, San Julian veins, and Cienega, which is lower silver price, and lower volume process and cost inflation included to the devaluation effect. So a lot of different factors there that are coming into play that is bad news that contributed to it. The company's profit for the period decreased from $308.4 million in the first half of 2021 to $141 million in the first half of 2022. That's a 54.3% decrease period on period. Profit due to non-controlling interest was $23.6 million, reflecting the profit generated at Juanicipio, where MAG Silver owns 44% of the outstanding shares. Accordingly, profit attributable to equity shareholders of the group was $117.4 million, Fresnillo said. Importantly, the company's board has declared an interim dividend of 3.4 US cents per ordinary share, totaling $25.1 million. Fresnillo said that the interim dividend is lower than the previous period due to the decrease in profit. That makes sense. So the decision was made after a comprehensive review of the group's financial situation, assuring that the group is well placed to meet its current and future financial requirements, including its development and exploration projects. And that is the key here, folks. They are going to continue to explore, like I do, but they're looking for silver. And so other veins could be out there, but it also tells us that there's less and less really high quality silver ore out there. Fresnillo is the world's largest primary silver producer and Mexico's largest gold producer. Fresnillo has 7 operating mines, and so they're a huge company. So when you think about all those factors, it costs more fuel, inflation, to get the lower grade ore, get the silver out of the lower grade ore. So that's a problem. Primary silver mining has been in decline, as I have documented on this channel for quite some time. And but nonetheless, as it reported very recently, 2021 showed amazing profits all the way across the mining sector, silver and gold generally overall. But silver, being the metal that it is mostly mined as a byproduct of other metals. And so this being the largest primary silver mining company, really there's a lot more silver that's mined out there from other sources and along with other metals as well. And those profits from those mining operations are much greater. And the cost, all-in sustaining costs per ounce for an ounce of silver mined as a byproduct of other metals is somewhere below $10 an ounce, at least last time I checked, and maybe a little bit above that now with inflation, but likely not much. Whereas the cost to mine a primary silver ounce is much higher. Last I checked, it was between 11 and 14, 15, 16, maybe 17, $18. There's a wide range, but with inflation, fuel, and lower ores out there, that is the case. That makes it more expensive. So does this mean that there is a silver shortage? Well, not necessarily. I think there's a silver shortage of silver mined primarily. That has been happening for quite some time. But considering the vast majority of silver is mined as a byproduct of other metals, I can say that probably we are not going to see a silver shortage anytime soon. And by the way, a silver shortage would technically and most should be defined as actually a silver shortage coming out of the ground and meeting the demands of all the sectors. Because you can buy silver anywhere you want, even though there are certain silver products that are not available. There is a shortage of those. That is a continuation from what we have seen in the past with everything from the silver squeeze movement to just the great demand when the prices drop. And there's a lot of new silver buyers out there, which is certainly exciting and a good thing to have. Silver is a metal that you got to kind of be careful, and you have to really understand its price fluctuations and the dramatic moves in the market, its volatility, and understand what you're paying, what is made up in the price of the silver, the premiums and the spot price and what you could get for it. It's not just a monolithic thing, and it's price movements in the market and how the market reacts to even just in the physical market, much less the ETFs, futures, options, and the like. But nonetheless, silver is certainly a metal that I believe is forecasted to see increased demand in the industrial sector ahead as the economy supposedly is going to improve. Everybody's been saying it's going to improve soon, But so far, we've seen 2 quarters of negative growth, which is a technical definition for recession, which means there's going to be less demand for silver. And with supply chain issues still out there, likely we're going to see silver wane in that area. So a silver shortage is certainly not going to be a concern unless there are certain silver products that you want, like silver eagles. And in that case, you're going to be paying a pretty cent for those. Yes, indeed. So no silver shortage ahead, but nonetheless, this is a little bit of bad news in the mining sector from the top silver producer in the world. And we will keep an eye on it because this could play a role in silver's price ahead. At least some role, I think, though minor, albeit, compared to all the other silver miners out there, even all the other primary silver miners. And keep in mind that there is exploration that continues on a daily basis. They're looking for the next good deposit that's out there. It's a big world, and you never know. Geologists are studying, and a lot of remote sensing, and a lot of different ways to be able to find prospective sites for new silver. So there you go. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. If you found this video insightful, I hope you will press that thumbs up button. It does help the channel, and if you could share it with other social media platforms and even amongst your community tabs or what have you, it's very much appreciated, trying to get the word out there and grow the channel. So a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.